You step onto the treadmill. The belt hums under your feet. The number on the screen climbs. Sweat drips onto the display. 40 minutes later, you step off. Heart pounding, legs spent, and somehow nothing in the world has changed. No water carried, no meal made, no shelter finished. Just a number that resets to 0 the second you walk away. You did the work, so why does it feel like nothing actually happened? In a moment, you'll see exactly what your ancestors had instead of a gym membership. A daily structure where every ounce of effort looped straight back into something real. And by the end, you'll land on the sharper truth hiding underneath all that soreness, and the small, unglamorous way to start closing the gap in your own week. It starts with a fact most people never stop to consider. Your ancestors didn't have a workout routine. Your ancestors didn't have a workout routine, they had a morning. Water needed carrying, fuel needed gathering, something needed building, mending, or hauled back to camp before dark. None of it was optional, and none of it was labeled exercise. It was just Tuesday. Anthropologists who study foraging societies today, groups like the Hadza in Tanzania, have found that daily physical output in these communities is remarkably steady. Not extreme, but constant, woven through the whole day in small, purposeful bursts. Carrying, digging, climbing, walking with a destination in mind. Ask yourself honestly, how much of your day involves effort that actually leads somewhere? Here's the part that should surprise you. Researchers measuring energy expenditure in groups like the Hadza expected to find dramatically higher numbers than in sedentary modern populations. What they often found instead was closer than predicted. The difference wasn't always how much energy got spent, it was what the effort was for. Every lift, every walk, every hour of labor was attached to an outcome your body could recognize. Food, shelter, safety, family. That attachment is the part modern life quietly removed. You kept some of the movement. You lost the meaning wrapped around it. This is where the gym starts to look less like a solution and more like a substitute. A treadmill raises your heart rate. It does not tell your nervous system that anything real happened. Your body evolved to read effort as information, a signal that resources were secured, that the group is safer, that tomorrow is more likely to go well. Recreational exercise, however disciplined, rarely sends that signal. You can finish a hard workout and still feel strangely unfinished. That feeling isn't laziness, it's your body noticing the effort didn't connect to anything it recognizes as consequence. So consider the shape of your week. Errands get automated, food arrives assembled, even movement gets outsourced to a screen counting your steps for you. Compare that to a day where carrying, building, or walking somewhere with real stakes was simply how life functioned. Your ancestors weren't more disciplined than you. They lived inside a structure that made load-bearing effort unavoidable and rewarding by design because the reward was survival itself. Strip that structure away, and discipline alone has to manufacture what daily life used to hand you for free. No wonder it feels harder now. Here's a question worth sitting with for a moment, maybe even worth answering in the comments. When was the last time your effort produced something you could actually see, hold, or use by the end of the day? Not a workout log, not a calorie count on an app. Something real, a meal you made from raw ingredients, a space you cleared, a problem you physically solved with your hands. If the answer feels distant, you're not alone, and that gap is exactly the thread this video is following. Load-bearing effort did something else too, something almost never discussed. It gave your ancestors physical proof of their place in the group. Carry the water and the camp drinks. Build the shelter and the family sleeps dry. That proof arrived automatically, stitched into the task. Modern effort rarely offers that. You can work an entire day at a screen and end it with no physical evidence anything happened at all. Researchers studying burnout have often noted this gap between effort and visible outcome as a quiet driver of exhaustion. Not too much work, but work disconnected from felt result, and this is the sharper truth underneath all of it. Your body isn't just missing exercise, it's missing consequence. Fitness culture sold you the idea that movement alone was the missing ingredient, so you added movement. Spin classes, step counts, weekend hikes, and the emptiness often stayed anyway. That's because the body was never asking for movement in isolation. It was asking for movement that mattered to something beyond itself. Recreational effort can strengthen a muscle. It struggles to convince your nervous system that your effort changed anything real in your world. So what did your ancestors actually have that you don't? Not more willpower. A structure where effort and outcome were impossible to separate. Every ounce of exertion looped back into something visible. Food secured, shelter finished, distance covered toward a real destination. That loop is the load-bearing life your body still quietly expects, even now, even in a world that no longer requires it of you in the same raw form. You don't need to abandon modern life to close that gap, but you can start noticing where effort and outcome have quietly split apart in your own days and look for small places to stitch them back together. Cooking instead of ordering, walking with a destination instead of a treadmill, fixing instead of replacing. None of it needs to be dramatic. Your ancestors didn't optimize their effort. They simply lived in a world that never let it go to waste. The tiredness you can't explain may not be about doing too little or even too much. It may be about effort that never gets to land anywhere. Your body still keeps the old ledger even if your calendar doesn't. So the next time you finish a workout and still feel strangely hollow, don't ask whether you moved enough. Ask what that movement was actually for. And tell us in the comments what your last piece of real, visible effort actually was. The kind your body could recognize without being told.